Hi, I'm Charlie, and this is part one in a series of videos that I'll be doing on the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel breed standard. I've spoken a lot in the past about breed standard, and you should know, if you've watched any dog shows, that the breed standard is actually what judges are judging against. That's why you can have a group of dogs of different breeds, and they're not really being judged against each other, but each one against its own breed standard. So what is a breed standard? Let me just give a little bit of an introduction into that, because this is the first video in the series. A breed standard is just words. This is the breed standard as established by the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel USA Club for the Cavalier. It's not much. So obviously, if you compare it to the complexity of what really determines what the dog looks like, which would be the entire canine genome, it's really almost nothing. So a lot depends on understanding and applying and interpreting that breed standard. So that I'll be talking about each segment of it as we go along with this series of videos. This first video will focus on what most people consider to be most important about the breed, and that's the head. Now, why do I say most important? The original breed standard for Cavaliers was drawn up almost 100 years ago in England, and it was originally drawn up as a point system. And there were a certain number of points allotted to each part of the dog's appearance, structure, and movement, and so on. Out of 100 points, 55 points were devoted to the head and the various elements of the head. A lot of people consider the Cavalier to be a head breed because of that. And a lot of judges pay more attention to the head than they do to any other part of what they see with the Cavalier. In this breed standard, there are 15 subtopics listed. And out of those 15 subtopics that are listed, 6 of them have to do with the head. So let's take a look at them. I'm going to enlist Tag's help, because even though she's 9 years old, she's still a beautiful girl. And she does have what I consider to be a really beautiful classic Cavalier head. So there are certain elements of the head that are listed specifically in the breed standard. One of them is the eyes. Well, let's take a close look at Tag's eyes here. It states in the breed standard that they should be large, round, dark, expressive, and well set apart. Tag has what I consider to be all of those elements. The well set apart may take you by surprise, but if the eyes are set closer together on the skull, it does give a very sharp, piercing effect rather than the soft and gentle expression that Cavaliers are supposed to have. It also mentions cushioning under the eyes. So that would be this area where my thumbs are right now, should be cushioned well enough to contribute to that soft expression. The standard mentions the stop, which is this area right here at the end of the top of the muzzle, and that stop is described as shallow. Now, when you look at a Cavalier stop, you might think, well, that's not really shallow. That's really kind of deep. But most judges interpret that to be something as opposed to the English Toy Spaniel, from which the Cavalier breed was recreated, actually. And that breed, as well as some other short-muzzled breeds, have a very, very pronounced, deeply set stop because their muzzle is just kind of pushed in. So compared to the English Toy Spaniel, you'll find the Cavalier stop is shallow. We want a distance from the stop to the tip of the nose to be about 1.5 inches. We want the nose to be well pigmented, nice dark black nose. The nostrils well defined, not pinched, because again, pinched nostrils give a very harsh expression to the face. The bite is very important, and you'll always see judges taking a look at the bite. And what we're looking for, now you'll have to pardon Tag because she's older and she's lost some teeth, but we're looking preferably for a scissor bite where the upper teeth come just on the outside of the lower teeth. A level bite is permissible, an underbite is frowned upon, and a severe overbite is of course frowned upon as well. The standard mentions the ears. They should be set high on the head, but not close together. The reason we want the ears set high on the head is because it gives a flatter appearance to the head, which would be very domed if the ears were set low. We don't want that kind of a look. We want more of this kind of a look. It also makes reference to the leather of the ears. The leather is the fleshy part that the silky coat comes from. You'll sometimes see judges running their fingers through the ears. What they're looking for in that case is where the end of the leather is. Right where you see my thumb, that's the end of the fleshy leather of the ear, and you see how long the silky coat extends beyond that. And those ears, when the dog is alert, serve to frame the face very attractively. And then there's one more aspect in the breed standard referring to the head, and that's the general shape of the head. It does state that the skull should be slightly rounded, but not domey. And there's a few other things that I take a look at. It states that the muzzle should be tapered. Now, when you look at the muzzle straight on like this, it doesn't really look tapered. But when you take a look from the side, you will see that coming from the lower part of the jaw up towards the teeth does give kind of a taper to the muzzle. It comes up this way. I also like to look at the proportions of the skull. I like to take a look at the height of the muzzle as opposed to the total height of the skull. I think in a properly proportioned skull, the muzzle would be about half the height of the skull. So that's the Cavalier breed standard as it pertains to the head. Tag, I would like to thank you on behalf of everybody watching for being so helpful when it's obvious all you want to do is go lie down and sleep again. I know. You're an old girl and you deserve some rest. And look for other videos to be coming out in this series that will focus on other parts of the breed standard.